It's my pleasure to invite Dr. Nitin Agrawal Vaidya, an Ayurveda doctor practicing Ayurveda for over 24 years. He's an expert in pulse diagnosis and Panchkarma treatments. He is known as a formulator and researcher of Ayurveda medicinal and herbal formulations according to international standards, Ayush, European Union, and US FDA. Dr. Nitin has integrated the classical Ayurveda with modern scientific tools and knowledge. He is among one of the leading thinkers and young leaders in the field of Ayurveda. He has been regularly invited to speak at various international conferences, seminars, and webinars. He is also the founder and MD of Bliss Ayurveda Private Limited, Chairman of Alliance Ayurveda Research and Training Institute, and National Secretary of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Dr. Nitin Agrawal Vaidya.
Namaskar and good morning from Delhi, India. Of course, we are talking globally, so I think many of our esteemed audience would be experiencing evening or very early morning. But anyway, very good morning. And so I am Dr. Nitin Agarwal, and I am an Ayurveda doctor and expert in Ayurvedic medicine. So this very interesting topic of spirituality and meditation, I would like to give from the Ayurvedic perspective what exactly it means and how it benefits the mankind and how it has the potential to benefit all of us. So as we all know that spirituality is the constant and unchanging self that is aware of the physical and mental experience described in Ayurveda as pure consciousness. And this is like what we call spirituality, how aware we are about what is happening. And this is also one of the basic principles of Ayurveda when we talk about health. And so, as we all know, even the World Health Organization describes the same definition for health, which is coordination between mind, body, and consciousness. Without that, if we are not mentally or spiritually healthy, we can never be physically healthy. So I think in today's world, this is a very relevant subject, and we all need special attention on it. That if we have to keep ourselves healthy, we need to have our spiritual upliftment, and without that, we can never be healthy. So a lot of people thinks that, okay, spirituality maybe is for the gurus, for the religious class, for people, for old age people only, but that is not true. It is very important even for the young people, for children, for dynamic persons who are working right in the society, doing business, corporate business, or working in big corporate companies. They need even more because their spiritual index, when it lowers down, it definitely helps create problems, not only with their work performances, but with the society as a whole, with the performance of their workplace as well. So what exactly needs to be done when we talk about spirituality and meditation? So meditation is like dhyan, where like uplifting our inner self, where we go inwards. We need some thought process from inside, where people look inside to introspect, to think more about what is happening in their life, and then gradually calm down. When you are in a state of silence, then definitely your levels of chetana, or what we call consciousness, is uplifted. So this is very important that when we meditate, that is why it is considered that it is also part of Ayurveda recommendations by Vaidyas to meditate regularly as part of the health routines or lifestyle routines that been suggested. Now, how we combine this vis-a-vis our health? Again, as I repeat that since I'm an Ayurvedic Vaidya, a doctor, so I will focus this subject of spirituality and meditation to for the benefit of our health, of our whole families in that sense. Emotional health has been a very major factor which is determining a lot in our life these days. What is happening is that because of weak emotional health or because of deranged emotions, there is a lot of negativity in one's life. Even though we could be very successful materially, strictly speaking, like money, house, all the materialistic things that we love, everything is available with us. But then suddenly we realized that we are not happy. There is no happiness in life. We realize that there is no fun in life, and kind of we have low moods. We are sinking towards depression. And we have seen ample examples all over the world where very successful people, where people who were considered successful in terms of materialistic parameters, they are suddenly being diagnosed with severe depression. They may even commit suicide because of that. And there have been some very high profile cases of suicide happening, even in youngsters. And I'm insisting, I'm using this word youngsters, young age people, because our youth thinks that, oh, it is this topic is not meant for us, but it is very relevant for the younger generation because they are the future of our world and it's more importantly needed for their health. So emotional turbulence, once this happens, in Ayurveda, we say it is the imbalance of Pitta and Vata. Sadhaka Pitta, which is the seat of emotions situated in our heart, gets deranged. In modern terminology, we can correlate it with neurohormonal physiology, which gets imbalanced because of unhealthy lifestyle, because of unhealthy food habits, and not spiritually inclined at all. And there comes the problem that when this sadhaka pitta gets deranged, it disturbs our thought process, our thinking process also gets disturbed. We become either too materialistic, too focused on, what we call the success parameters of today's world, and we lose ground with spirituality and the power of meditation. We lose touch with that aspect at all. And this whole psychology, this whole thought process starts coming in our mind, especially in our youth. This we will do once we become 60 plus or 70 plus. Not now, it's not required right now. It's time only to just enjoy life, fun, just achieve the all materialistic targets and do nothing about spirituality and meditation. And here comes the problem. And that is why these seminars, these conclaves organized by team United Consciousness, I think brings much more relevance to us, that let's put our attention on this aspect, spirituality and meditation, because it directly affects our health. As I told you before as well, that spirituality is basically the aware, how much aware we are physically and mentally of what we is happening inside our body, what is happening in our hearts, what is happening in our thought process. And this is what we call consciousness. Without that, you cannot achieve good health. So how we target it now? Let's come, what can be done to achieve this level of consciousness, or what we call chetana, upliftment of consciousness. As I described before, perfect health is achieved only when we have a healthy state of mind, healthy state of spirituality or consciousness, as well as physical body. So how we can make this coordination? So this comes lifestyle here. So for a healthy mind and for a healthy consciousness, we need to meditate regularly. We need to follow certain principles in life where we can balance our emotions. Maharishi Charak, a very prominent saint or rishi in Ayurveda, who has written a very prominent book, Charak Samhita, has mentioned the principles of Achar Rasayana in this, which means behavioral patterns, how we should behave in life, so that we can keep our emotions in balance, so that we can keep our consciousness uplifted. So these principles need to be followed. What other we can do is we need to live a healthy lifestyle, which means we should of course have a proper time of eating food, regular exercise routines like yoga especially, and as well as routines of going to bed and waking up in the morning also needs to be taken care of. If we don't have a healthy sleep, if we are not sleeping enough, if we are not resting enough, then definitely we will disturb our state of mental faculty as well as our consciousness. We will be definitely emotionally charged because of that aspect. Now, what we follow with yoga, yoga again is it's called yoga because of the English way of speaking it, but primarily it is yoga. The Sanskrit word means coordination, coordination between mind, body, and consciousness. Again, the same principle of Ayurveda, coordination between mind, the physical body, as well as the spiritual body. So all these things needs to be coordinated for a healthy and happy life, which is the key to our success and to enjoy the actual life. So, how we achieve it? By meditation, by yoga, by practicing lifestyle routine, and practicing the principles of Achar Rasayana. Now, let's start with meditation in that aspect. Now, what exactly is meditation? Meditation is basically calming down, silence, power of silence, where we thoughts or the inner self. When we are meditating, we do any forms of meditation, we are basically, our mind suddenly becomes very active in the beginning. A lot of negative thought process will come. This is happening in life. I have to do this. Somebody said this. All these negative thoughts. But once we are in this whole silent stage, which we call as processing of the negative thoughts, which means all these negative thoughts will gradually, slowly eliminate out of our mind. And slowly, slowly, the positive thoughts will start coming. We will start finding answers to our questions, to our queries, to all this negativity, that how can we curb this negativity from our life. And this is the power of meditation. Once we start meditating at these levels, then what happens gradually, slowly, 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 our consciousness starts uplifting, which means our spiritual upliftment starts, where we follow this very principle of Achara Sayana, forget and forgive, which means that all the negative things that somebody has done to us, we start forgiving that person. We start forgetting those negativity, because this is very important for us, for our own spiritual upliftment. This is important for our own health, that we start forgetting these things, forgiving the person. And in the Vedic traditions, we always say that the person who forgive the person has higher level of consciousness more than the person who has committed a mistake or asking for forgiveness. So this is very important, that we need to learn the art of forgiving. हमें माफ करना आना चाहिए लोगों को, जिससे कि हमारी कॉन्शियसनेस, हमारी चेतना में अपलिफ्टमेंट आए. And this is where lies the spiritual angle also. All these saints, the rishis, the sannyasis, all they are expected by the society that they should bring spirituality. They are spiritual, they are higher level of consciousness, because they don't go on all these petty things about small problems, small allurements. They have to basically learn what we call complete detachment from all the emotions of life. And that is what we say higher levels of consciousness, chetana, ek Brahm Swarup. And this is the power of spirituality and meditation, which we also recommend as a Vaidya to practice in Ayurveda, because this will help uplift our emotions, balance and coordinate them with our state of mind and our physical body. And once we are able to do that, we become healthy. Now, just give a very basic example for our audience to understand that how it affects us. Let's say, for example, we have done something negative. We have committed a mistake or a crime. Our consciousness will come and tell you from time to time, this is a mistake, this is not wrong. We have broken some rules, we have broken some law, we have stolen something, we have not fulfilled our regular healthy routines even. Every time this will tell you, no, this is wrong, this is wrong. Then our mind will start processing it. Okay, yes, this is wrong, so I should not do it. But the mind starts suppressing it because our attention is on something, very strong on something else. So we will force our mind to stop this thought process which is coming from the consciousness, which means we are stressing our mind. And then what happens in turn? Our neurohormonal physiology gets disturbed. Our hormones, especially from the adrenals, which are called stress hormones, they get aggravated because they have to be secreted more to compensate this level of stress, emotional stress as well as mental stress. So once these hormones are enhanced and are aggravated, they disturb the hormones of our pituitary glands. They disturb the hormones of pancreas, insulin. They will disturb the hormones like feminine hormones in females and hormones of what we call sex hormones also in men. When all these hormones get disturbed, our physical body starts, clinging. And there comes the problem that when this process continues over a period of time, we start getting anxious. We have phobias, fears, we get social anxieties, we get even, all different types of negative thoughts, even lot of things that is happening in our life. We don't feel the happiness inside because nothing is working physically in our world. We may get diabetic, we may have heart problems, we may have high blood pressure, we may not be able to sleep properly. And all these issues start arising in our body. And then the thought process comes, oh my God, I am not doing anything like that, but why this is happening to me? And then here we go back again to probably months before or year before or 2 years before that, hey, what is our lifestyle? What have we been doing in all these years, except for running around for materialistic success, forgetting spirituality absolutely? What have we been doing with it? So then the thought process will come, yes, we do all those things. Maybe we achieve a lot of money, we may achieve a good position in life or in the seat of government, but we have lost contact with our spiritual self. And that is why it's more important that we need to connect and reconnect with our roots of spirituality by meditating, by following the principles of Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, and all these aspects. If we don't follow this, then definitely we will not be healthy. And as I always say, that if we are not healthy, then it will disturb our family. It will disturb the family index of our, it will disturb the health index of our family. If the family is disturbed, it will disturb the health index of the locality you live in. If that locality is not healthy, then it will disturb the consciousness and the health of your town, of the city, and that will of your state, of your country, and of the whole world. And the whole purpose of achieving this peace in the world, higher levels of consciousness in the world, will never be achieved. I have worked with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi for a long time, and he used to say that even if 1% of the humanity starts meditating and uplifts their consciousness, it will change the consciousness of the whole globe. And that is why it is important that we as individuals who are as part of this learned audience of United Consciousness Conclave, I think should start thinking about it and practicing about it. And we will achieve this good health and higher levels of consciousness and peace in this whole world. I think I end my point there. And with this on a positive note, that we will think about it in not in terms of only that it is meant for older people, but for our own self, for youth, for children, for our own health and happiness of ourselves and our families. Namaste, and thank you for your attention.
Namaskar, Dr. Agrawal sir. It
Namaskar.
is always a pleasure listening to you. The fine way you connected spirituality, Ayurveda, you provided the scientific aspect of it, you provided the Ayurvedic aspect of it, you also provided the psychological aspect of it. And rather, you gave many more readings for me also personally. You mentioned about Achar Rasayan, you mentioned about Charak Sahita, and many such things that you mentioned. I'm sure that the audience who have watched it will understand this fine balance that is to be maintained between mind, body, and consciousness, which you visited during your speech through World Health Organization's perspective, even yoga's perspective. So that was quite very amazing, Agrawal Sahab. And to the audience, I want to inform you that Bliss Ayurveda is doing amazing work across the world in terms of creating products which can uplift well-being, physical and mental well-being. Though I personally have not visited, which I am planning to soon visit soon,
Yes.
we United Consciousness also look forward to have a long-term association with Bliss Ayurveda to create a better world around.
Thank you, Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar, and it's been a wonderful conclave, and I believe that our audience gets benefited of it, and forward these messages to as many people as we can. Yes.
Indeed, indeed. Together, just now, even Dr. H.R. Nagendra has called upon that United Consciousness should also venture into doing research in reincarnation and related fields. So we are getting messages from the masters to proceed further
Yes.
and deeper. This event also, Agrawal Sahib, is being supported by G20, as you can see, and
Yes.
C20. India got presidency in this year. So we are also a part of G20 initiative to promote Ayurveda and spirituality, which is India's core wisdom to different part of the world. Thank you very much for
Thank
blessing
you.
us with this.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Dr. Nitin Agarwal Vaidya for sharing his views and coming on to the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much.